Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Mihir's Trading Journey. This is your host, Mihir, and it's always great to have you guys here. Now, first things first, guys, welcome back. Hopefully your day's going well if you've been trading in the pre-markets. There were a couple of moves here that I can see, but if you were trading, hopefully you're profitable and you're keeping those profits in your pocket and not giving back to the market. Guys, it is a marathon, not a race or a sprint. If anything, it's a sprint against yourself, your emotions. And I'm seeing this like nice little order block on the 1 minute actually forming, which could be interesting to take. Candles today are really big actually, guys. They don't look that big, but they're pretty decent size actually, so got to be very careful on how we trade this. It's possible that today's market is going to be one of those markets where wherever you want to enter, you kind of want to have to give yourself more space. So basically, if you want to enter at, like, let's say this order block, which is at 400, or to be exact, it's at 407, you might have to like enter at like 390, right? Like basically a few 10-20 points below where your entry point actually would be, and vice versa, 10-20 points above where your entry would be for a short. Okay, pretty decent pullback actually. Can we get to the 50s for a pullback? And that would be a nice reaction, I feel like. Like, I don't mind like a long off the 50s if we get down here. Like 50, 52s, 51s, like something around there. That could be nice. And the stop loss can be like right below this. Honestly, there isn't a realistic stop loss, so I'm going to go ahead and take that trade off. Whenever there isn't a realistic stop loss, there's no point in taking that stop or taking that trade, because you're just putting yourself at risk for no reason, right? Every time you're in the market, there's this thing called there's this thing we call market exposure. You're exposing your money to the market, and when you don't have a clear stop loss, either you're putting infinite risk because you don't have a clear stop loss and you're maybe not putting in the stop in the first place because of it, or even if you are putting in a stop, that stop is most likely going to get stopped out, because stops are supposed to be based off of technicals, right? Especially when you're doing like small scalps like this. So if it gets down to, for example, 50s, and then we get like some sort of wick, I believe if you guys were watching the stream yesterday, you remember that specific example that I showed you guys that I was going to take a trade on. Even though it didn't fill us out, it did go in our direction yesterday. And that's basically what's going to happen today as well, right? So if we get down here at 50s and we kind of like put in a wick and we see like the body's reacting, the wick is reacting, and so then we can get in and basically put our stop below that wick. But it looks like we're breaking a new high, right? Okay, I don't mind a long like that. Stop loss right under the highs there. Long like that actually makes more sense, so I get like a little bit more, you know, or a little less space for my stop loss. Looking for just 10 points here, by the way. So if it pushes up in my direction, trying to go break even as soon as possible. Looks a little bit more bearish than I would think, but it's holding pretty well right now. So let's see if we can continue to hold. Pushing down further than I would like. Come on. Let's see that reaction. Come on. Not in the right direction. And then we get stopped out here. Oh, look at that. A whole big red candle leg downwards. Immediate stop out. Okay, fair enough. Down 1,645 on each of our accounts right now. We did leverage in four contracts there, guys. By the way, if you guys look at the numbers, they might look huge, but we're also leveraged in. You have to remember that at the end of the day, right? So if it was just one contract there, we would have lost 400 bucks, right? So we risked only 400 bucks per contract, which is a good, quickly recap, right? I think we had the good idea of what trade we wanted. seems like instead of like this previous high, kind of like supported off of the previous support level, which makes sense, right? And also it seems like it did push up eventually to the VWAP, so we were also in the right direction. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like you win some, you lose some, right? So here's the loss. I have to show you the loss as I show you the wins, right? So that's that, guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Obviously I don't think we can trade, so, and even if we could trade, I'm not trying to scalp back $1,645, and that's, you know, turning it into like a snowball effect and losing these accounts completely. So I'm gonna call it here. Thank you everyone for joining in. I appreciate the support. If anyone's gonna continue trading, the day is still young. It's only 10:10 American Eastern time. So good luck. Be smart. Be patient. Take the best setups according to your strategy. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay green. Play it safe. GG's and peace out.